Hello, everyone. It is just before 7 o'clock. If you can, as you are coming on, let me know that you can see me and hear me. That would be amazing. All right, so we always give that grace period of the first few minutes for everyone to get themselves in, to get comfortable. And I am actually going to do the same. For the first time ever in hosting a webinar, I don't have my big glass of water sitting next to me. So hold tight. We're 7 on the dot right now. Get your notes out, get your paper out, get your pens out, get your water for yourself. And I'm going to do the same. I will be right back. All right, this is the beauty of doing this at your home, is you have little monkeys downstairs who can run you up your water. So there are tons of you that are coming into the room. If you can just let me know, can you see me and can you hear me? That would be fabulous. Says I'm offline. Frozen. Okay, I'm going to sign out and I'm going to jump back on. All right, do you see me now? It's just going to work for us tonight. It's always super fun when this happens. Better, yes, okay, woohoo. All right, so spoiler alert, anytime we're dealing with technology, we also have a lot of people that are on this webinar tonight that are registered for this. So sometimes when that happens, things can get a little bit iffy, a little bit sketchy. So just know this, that even if we have issues with it pausing or freezing, when it does the recording, everything will be totally good and you're going to get it all crisp and clean. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here with me tonight. If you are having any issues with your sound or that, Vanessa, my assistant, is online. You may have to refresh your screen. You may have to pop off and bring yourself back on. Okay, hold one moment. Eddie here, kiddo.
Did you already do the online thing?
I'm on it right now.
No, I need Mommy.
This is a mom working from home.
Mom, did you do the online waiting for my waiver?
No.
Okay, I'll send it. Bye.
And this is what happens when you're a mom working from home and you have small people down below. You get asked about helping with homework right now. So tonight's webinar is all about you. I am going to stay focused because I have a lot that I want to get through over the next hour with all of you. Vanessa is going to stay connected to all of the questions that are popping up into the sidebar and walk you through any of the tech issues that you may have. I know for a lot of you, this is the first time that you are hopping onto a webinar, that you've ever been on Webinar Jam, so it is all good. I am Jen Pike. I'm the founder of the Simplicity Project. I'm the author of the Simplicity Project and the Simplicity Kitchen, and I am a holistic lifestyle expert. I have been in this industry for 20 years now, working in it full time. I really gym when I was 6 years old with my dad. And that is when I had my aha moment of just this. I was mesmerized by the human body, watching people work out, seeing what they were capable of. And that was it. That was kind of the turning point for me. By 9 years old, I was teaching the kids cardio classes at our local gym. And by 17, I was the youngest member of their fitness committee and started to teach aerobics. And then went on to, get my initial degree and diploma in human anatomy and biomechanics and physiology. Since then, obviously became a registered holistic nutritionist. That was 16 years ago. Yoga instructor, Pilates instructor, pre and postnatal, medical exercise specialist, personal trainer, you name it in the realm of body movement, holistic nutrition, mindset, all of it. I have had my hand in some facet of that. The reason I love teaching these webinars so much is that for the last 2 decades, I have been traveling out and doing webinars and seminars and that, and going out, or not webinars rather, but workshops and seminars, and being there in person in front of you. But there's only one of me, and there are many of you. And so what was happening is that I wasn't able to actually be able to deliver the messages and the teachable components to as many people as I wanted to. I couldn't maintain responding to all the requests. So thank goodness to technology for making this so accessible and so easy. I am inundated with emails every day from people asking how to lose weight, how to increase their energy, how to balance their hormones, how to heal their digestive system, how to get better restorative sleep, what type of exercise to do, what supplements to take. I mean, the list really never ends, and nor do the emails, to be honest with you. And so as long as those emails keep coming in, I'll continue to show up and to do this. There's 6 key strategies that I want to talk to you guys about tonight that are really pertaining to how to create the body that you want for life. And if you follow me on Instagram and my Instagram stories, I said I'm going to share how you can get the body of your dreams, not your perfect body, the body of your dreams, and that there is a difference between those 2 statements. So this perfect body that we have created in our mindset, that we have this very romantic vision about, it is very kind of Barbie-like, the models in the magazines, thin, no extra bum hanging out of your underwear, no extra boob coming out of your bra, no wrinkles, this flat tummy, a 6-pack if it's possible, sculpted arms, chiseled back, all of those things. This is the body that we have in our mind. The reality is that the body of your dreams probably doesn't actually look like that. The body of your dreams feels a certain way. So it feels like when you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes and you have energy. You step up out of your bed without hearing cracks and crunches. You can hold your head high and walk into the washroom and look at yourself in the mirror and not be like, oh my gosh, and feel awful about what you see staring back at you. You get rest at night when you go to sleep. Your eyes are nice and bright. You have digestion that is so beautifully in harmony with your body that when you eat, you don't feel bloated and gassy, and you're not belching, you're not running for the bathroom or wishing that you could run for the bathroom, because you have the opposite problem where you're constipated. You have the energy to exercise, and you can choose the type of exercise that you want to do. And when you do move your body, whether it's with weights or yoga or Pilates or walking or swimming or whatever it may be, your body rises to the occasion. You're able to fully show up in all aspects of who you are and get the most out of your workout without feeling like the only way you can move the needle or shift your body weight or your inches or the size of your pants or what the scale is reading back to you is by eating less and by moving more. That archaic philosophy, that archaic formula is absolute BS. And if you've been following me in the Simplicity Project long enough, you will know I am all about cutting the BS. So we're not going to mince words tonight. We're just going to get straight to it. I want you to know that you're in the right place tonight in this webinar if you feel like you're constantly struggling, if you feel overwhelmed, right? We live in a time now where I don't believe there is a shortage of information. I actually think that there is too much information. Everyone and their mother is offering an online course, an online program, an online webinar. There's tons of magazines. There are thousands of books. If you're to say you're going to go to the health food store or to Indigo or to Chapters and buy a health book, I mean, good luck, because how do you choose? You choose based on the book that has the prettiest food or the prettiest person or the words where all of a sudden you read something and you feel like that's me. They're describing me. My solution to how I'm feeling or how I want to feel and I'm not feeling right now is within the pages of these books. And, you can get lucky and you can find a book that really inspires you. But for most of us, it's not enough, right? We try something on for size for a week or two, and then we drop it and say, well, that didn't work. And then we jump into the next program and the next plan. We're going to talk about that tonight. You're also in the right place if you have been struggling to lose weight. You feel like everything that you're doing isn't creating the goals and the outcome that you are after. In fact, you might feel like you're gaining weight as opposed to losing weight. You're in the right place if you feel like you have tried everything. How many of you have ever said that? I've tried everything. I've tried every plan. I've tried every program. Nothing works for me. It's just my body. This is just the way I am. Right? I've just kind of given into that. I'm not going to be able to change the things that I'm not happy about. You're in the right place if you are looking for a community, if you're looking for mentorship, for a coach, for accountability, for somebody that has been there themselves personally, that has been in practice for 2 decades and worked with thousands of women and children and men and all, walks of life, whether it's corporate executives, stay-at-home moms, those of us that are just trying to feel good in the body and the skin that we live in. You're in the right place if you feel like you can never train enough. You can never eat clean enough. No matter what it is that you do, it's never enough. Tonight, we're going to go through my personal 6 strategies and solutions to the most common issues that all of us are dealing with. So there is no typical person that I'm going to describe tonight. Quite honestly, this is everybody I'm going to talk about tonight because at some point, all of us have gone through the 6 topics that we are going to set and go into right now. So I want you to know first why I'm here, why I do this, why I got started on this path. Yes, you heard how I got into the gyms and all of that, but the biggest tipping point for me is that my career started off working with athletes. I was working with professional athletes, athletes in the NHL, athletes that were drafted to the NHL. I was working with dancers, I was working with wrestlers, I was working with a ton of different athletes. And I loved it because they would do anything that you told them to, but they had the right network around them. They had the appropriate food, they had the accountability, they had the therapist, they had the trainers, they had this environment that built them up to be the professional athletes that they are. And then I would go back to the gym that I worked at and I would get to train regular average people that were coming to the gym before work or trying to get into the gym after work, that were fitting the time in for themselves in between life, in between making dinner, in between raising their children, in between, trying to just discover where that happy place was in their body. And I started to have so much more joy working in the gym space with those people because for me, they were really the athletes of everyday life, right? Those people didn't have the personal trainer, 7 days a week. They didn't have the appropriate food around them. They didn't have, endless amount of time. They weren't being paid to show up and exercise and to train their body and get massages and all of those things. They really had to make a conscious choice about it. And so it was always such a joy when I got to be part of that journey with people. And then to see the struggles that women were going through. And primarily women is who I work with. I mean, I am a woman, I'm a mother, so it just resonates with me. And I just got really sick and tired of all of this crap that we are being fed in terms of you have to deprive yourself, you have to starve yourself, you have to do endless cardio. The only way you're going to lose weight is if you're perfect 7 days a week. And I was just watching things kind of spiral out of control. I also had my own personal story. When I was younger, I modeled. I was 22 pounds lighter than I am now and told to lose weight all the time in my hips. And, I was the fortunate one. Out of all the places that I traveled modeling and the roommates that I had, I was the only one that didn't have an eating disorder. And I'm really grateful for the opportunities that I had in modeling and for those experiences because it really helped me to develop a level head and to understand how desperate some of us can be in that place, in that space where we want to look a certain way. And that really it's that looking a certain way we think is going to make us feel a certain way. So I started early on really educating myself, reading various books, going to workshops, in my teens. When my friends were sleeping in the morning, I was up going to the gym with my dad, and not in an obsessive way, but in a way that just, it felt like, if you missed brushing your teeth in the morning and that kind of gross fuzzy feeling, me not exercising daily felt like I had this fuzz all over my body. And then I went away to school to study health and fitness and physiology. And I also partied, and I partied a lot for 3 years. I ate my way through school and drank my way through school. And I came out of school 22 pounds heavier. I came out of school weighing 149 pounds. That is what I weighed with my first child. So when I came out of school, I'm tall, I'm long. I didn't really see all of it. I felt it though. I was wearing a size 31 jean. Like that, when I think now, is like crazy on my frame and on my body, but I was so inflamed. I was puffy. I looked like I could stick a pin in myself. And over the next 12 to 18 months, I lost the 22 pounds. And it wasn't just by stopping drinking and that, because I was still in my 20s. I was still out socializing. It was by adopting a lot of the principles that I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight. And now my life's journey has just been continuing to learn more about those, and to get even more finite and specific about how I approach the way I live my everyday life. There is no such thing in my life as dieting, as, being restrictive, as I'm not allowed, making myself feel bad after I've chosen to eat something or drink something or not show up to the gym that day. And that really, for me, is part of this is giving you some of the strategies behind the how and the what, but it's really talking to you about why you're choosing to do the things that you are doing for yourself. I look at a lot of women and the things that they're choosing and how they exercise, right? The form, the intensity, the frequency that they choose, how, the dieting that they're doing, the nonstop fasting, always doing keto, restrictive, ways of eating. And all of those plans can be woven into various phases of your body and throughout your life. But when we become so dogmatic, we become so linear, we become so hyper-focused on only one way of caring for our bodies, which, by the way, are changing every single day, we start to lose sight of being in touch with how our body is feeling, and we get way too focused on how our body is looking. And when the numbers don't start to line up and the scale isn't moving and our pants aren't fitting any differently, and we're not seeing the bicep pop the way that we want to, and we're not seeing our bum lift to the height that we want to, we wrap ourselves up in this feeling of, well, I kind of suck. Like, this isn't working for me. And I just, my body, it won't change for me. It doesn't listen to me. It's not responding. Nothing's working. And I'm here to tell you that, it might be your approach that's not working. It might be lack of consistency that's not working. It could be that you're actually training too hard and too intense that's not working. So let's start to go through this. I am telling you this as well too, because I've been doing a lot of these webinars and Facebook Lives lately. A lot of them I've let them be self-run, meaning you guys just submit questions and I provide you the answers. But I do have my 6-week signature course that I run once a year, the Simplicity Project, coming up in May. And I'll tap into that at the end and talk about some different ways that you can take advantage of bonuses and an offer for that. But right now, let's talk about you. So the 6 things we're going to go through tonight is how to optimize your digestion. And I'm going to talk about a couple of different gut healing protocols that I have used personally for myself, for my family, for my friends, and for my practice members as well too, for the clients that I have been working with, and really talk about what all of that means. I mean, we hear gut health and digestion stuff all the time now, but we're going to get a little bit more specific. I'm going to talk to you about the real source of inflammation, that fire that is burning within our bodies in a not so good way, food sensitivities and autoimmune triggers, how you can start to pinpoint and identify these things and start to remove them out of the body and begin to create that healing process. We're going to talk about the true needle movers when it comes to losing weight. I'll share a little bit more about my journey of losing 22 pounds myself and being able to maintain and keep that off. And I've gone through many different phases in changing not only my own body, but clients' bodies. I've done a couple of fitness competitions. I've done a few small triathlons. I've done, marathons, half marathons, all of those things. And I'm going to talk about what I've noticed and seen throughout the years and the phases of these movements and exercise in my body type and in others, and share some of my expertise and go from there. We're also going to talk about hormonal balance. I'm going to talk to you tonight more specifically about the tests that you need to be requesting to get a true hormone picture. You're also going to get a lot of pushback from your family doctor on these tests that I'm suggesting that you ask for. And so I'm going to talk about some different labs and ways that you can move around your family doctor, because that is really what being healthy is now, is you have to circumvent the system in order to find out what is truly going on in your body. When I work with clients, whether you're in my hormone project or you are doing one-on-one consulting with me, I always do a full blood analysis, and I help you to understand the areas that need a little bit more support and nurturing in your system and in your body. I'm also going to talk about where you should be allocating your budget in terms of paying for additional testing. So this might be things like the Dutch hormone testing, like getting your salivary testing done. I'm also going to talk about where you should be investing into your supplements and you should put your wallet back in your purse and what you don't need to waste your money on, and how some supplements can actually be hindering your progress and hindering your digestion, your bowels, and your body as a whole. I'm going to give you my 3 specific steps to sculpting your body head to toe. What you actually need to have in the back of your headspace to know what you should be doing when you go into the gym or you go into your studio or training at home, wherever it may be. And then I'm going to talk about successfully meal planning, shopping, and budgeting for yourself so that you actually don't feel like you're breaking the bank on this holistic health journey that you're about to embark on. Sound good? Let me know if you can still hear me and see me, if you can just pop that in on the side. So we have a lot to get through in the next 40 minutes. I am going to keep the chat bar open on the side so that you can post questions that you have there. I will let you know, though, that I am going to try and stay really specific to what it is that we're talking about. Okay, great. Awesome. Good. And I'll let you know this as well, too, is that there's many people I've worked with for over the last 20 years. Quite honestly, I still have some clients that I started to teach when I was 17 years old at New Generation in Newmarket, at Glenway Country Club, at Fit City, at Timberlane Athletic in Aurora, that are still with me on this journey now, which is incredible. And, they can attest to tell you that I am an eternal student. So the information I provide to you is constantly being tweaked and shifting based on the latest research, the latest studies. I'm a science girl, and I'm also looking at the human body. So as opposed to just reading studies and looking at benchmarks, I'm having a lot of one-on-one and group experiences with real humans. The way you describe in which how you feel, so your own symptomatology, is really the most powerful test you could ever have, even more so sometimes in the blood work, because in blood work, you can show up within the targeted benchmarks from Life Labs and whatever lab it is, wherever you are. There's many of you from all over the world on here tonight, and you can appear like everything is quote unquote fine, but you don't feel fine. You have no energy. Your hair is falling out. You have dark circles under your eyes. You can't digest anything. You have constant digestive upset. You have joint pain and inflammation. Your body just keeps gaining weight. You feel puffy all the time. You have anxiety. You feel depressed. You aren't getting appropriate sleep. The list can go on and on. You have skin issues, but yet everything looks fine. You get told that it's in your head. You get told that you just need to meditate, that you just need to get more sleep, that you need to rest. And I'm here to tell you that in most cases, that's not actually what's going on. It's that we aren't doing a good enough job in the medical system right now, currently, to detect when things are suboptimal. You see, when we look at any type of statistic, whether it is your hematology, so we're looking at your blood work, or we're looking at salivary hormone paneling, or the dried urine test for complete hormone, which is the Dutch hormone testing, or we're looking at food sensitivities, or we're looking at food allergies, we are not trying to identify when a problem exists. We're trying to identify the pre-problem phase, which is when things are suboptimal. We want to catch stuff when they're starting to creep towards that place and space where now we may have to talk about more drastic changes and possibly about medication. We don't want to get to that phase. We want to catch things when they're starting to slow down, to wane down, to show an imbalance. And what's so important is that you don't ignore the signs and symptoms that your body is giving you, right? Your incredible body is telling you a story every single day, and it really is your divine duty and divine right and purpose to understand the language that your body is explaining to you so that you can start to be your own CEO of your health. Okay, you have to approach taking care of your body like you approach taking care of your children, taking care of your job, taking care of your finances, all of those things. You really have to put that hat on for yourself and for your body. You cannot put the responsibility into someone else's hands because they're just not going to care as much. So if you take one thing away from tonight, it is that you need to fully step into the seat of being the CEO of your body and your health. Let's start with your digestion. I typically never make notes, and I made 7 pages of notes for tonight's webinar because, again, we have so much to go through. So optimizing digestion and gut healing protocols. So the first thing here is you need to remove your known triggers. So your known triggers would be the things that every time you eat them, your body is like, things just feel off. You get really tired. You feel like you have to undo your pants. You start to feel your stomach gurgle. You have really bad gas. You have to run to the washroom. You just feel off. Maybe you feel like you get this brain fog or you have a food hangover. And this response can happen anywhere from a few minutes after consuming it, a few hours, up to 3 to 4 days later after consuming it. But you know as a person, you start to get that feeling where you're like, oh, every time I eat X, Y, and Z, which just tastes so good, I feel really kind of gross. Those are the things you need to start to remove right away, because the things that are, raising their hand and telling you that your body doesn't deal well with, your body doesn't deal well with. You don't need to pay for a sensitivity test to be told that and to understand that. Where it can get more challenging is that most of our strongest food sensitivities are the foods that we are eating every day, all the time. So this is a tricky one because the more that you consume the food that you're sensitive to, over time, your body starts to become desensitized to recognizing that it's irritating you. And then you start to get used to the signs and symptoms. You just start to say, oh, it's just me. I'm bloated all the time. Oh yeah, come like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm like, I got to bring a different pair of pants to work to change into those. Or, oh, I always get headaches. That's normal for me. I always wake up in the middle of the night. That's normal for me. I only get, 2 hours of sleep. That's normal for me. I always have super crazy sugar cravings where I could steal food from a baby if they're eating something sweet. That's just normal. That's for me. We start to do this thing where we start to justify, oh, eczema, I've always had that. That's just me. Every single one of those things I just described is a source of a digestive imbalance and a sign of inflammation in your body. And so if you feel like you don't even know what to eat anymore because everything irritates you, or you can't see through it, meaning you don't feel good, but you don't know when you look at your diet, you feel like everything you're eating is healthy, right? This is your routine. This is what you do. How could it possibly be, the whatever crackers you've been eating for the last 8 years, how all of a sudden could they be bothering you? This is when you would want to get food sensitivity testing done, because then right off the bat, we can know from the get-go the foods that are bothering you the most. Now, if you didn't want to go and spend the money on food sensitivity testing, there are other things you can do. The first thing would be get rid of the most common offenders. Gluten, 100%. When you can look at any study, whether it's a double-blind placebo study, any level of a study done on people with autoimmune disorders like Hashimoto's, cancer, you can look at diabetics, you can look at celiac patients, you can look at people who have IBS, which in my industry we would call interesting bullshit because there is no such thing as IBS. IBS is a blanket term for a crap ton of food sensitivities and a leaky gut. When you see any of these people, so we look at all these different studies, the average people, percentage-wise, that do better on a gluten-free diet are 88%. That's a pretty strong statistic. And I know a lot of you who have removed the gluten say the bloating is gone, the eczema is clearing up, the sinus congestion is dissipating, the acne is starting to go away, the fungus that you've had in between your toes and your fingernails is starting to go away, your cravings are starting to shift. So gluten is a big one. Dairy is huge because none of us are cows. I've yet to have a cow come onto my webinar. We're all humans, and we do not have the digestive capability to break down the proteins, things like casein and whey, but also the albumin and the lactose that is in cow's milk. The average adult cow is over 2,000 pounds. They have 4 stomachs. They're producing amounts of micro and macronutrients that our bodies just don't need because we're not a baby calf. So you have to start to recognize that consuming, even if it's organic milk, your body does not require that. Your highest sources of calcium are coming from your plant-based nutrients, and you can do a little social study for yourself. You can go into the grocery store and you could take all of your various forms of animal milk, so goat, sheep, and cow. Then you could line it up next to rice, almond, coconut, cashew. I feel like I'm missing one. Soy milk. You could line it all up. All of them are going to tell you that they have 30% of your RDA, your recommended daily amount of calcium. It's the upper limit of what you are allowed to include in the product. But then what you're going to start to see is things like fortified, added, sweeteners, filtered. What's happening is we're fractionating these foods and then chemically re-adding things in to try and make it a whole food again. If you need to have milk in your diet, if you're having it on your cereal, you're putting it in a smoothie, make a nut milk. It's super easy. It's 1 cup of water, 4 cups of raw nuts. You blend it, you pour it, you're done. Or purchase an organic, non-GMO, non-dairy milk source. But that dairy connection, if you have chronic sinus issues, so if your child has that, if you suffer from allergies, I mean, here we are, we're the beginning or end of April, beginning of May, allergies, pollen is coming out, people are starting to suffer. Get off the dairy. The eczema, the psoriasis, the constipation, the gut issues, the reflux, the acidity. I mean, we could pretty much look at any scenario and start to connect it back to high consumption of dairy. And this isn't just drinking glasses of milk. It's your cheese, it's your yogurt. It's all the dairy you don't know that you're having that is in the form of buttermilk and whey powder and casein that's used in other ingredients. That is in things like your crackers that have flavoring, your rice chips that have flavoring, your hair care. Like, honestly, those ingredients are in everything. Silk is okay. They are non-GMO and they are organic. Yes, you are good. Corn, right? So GMO, genetically modified corn, processed soy. So if you're using non-GMO corn, if you're using non-GMO sprouted, fermented soy, then you are okay. I still wouldn't recommend using it as a milk all the time. I really wouldn't, but if you're having sprouted, fermented organic tofu or tempeh or some edamame here and there, totally fine. Artificial sweeteners and artificial colors and sugar. These are going to be your biggest triggers. Now, for some people, eggs are in there as well too. But if all you did in the beginning was remove your dairy and start to remove the gluten, already you're going to lift this level of interference off your body, and already you're going to take care of some of that digestive burden. The second thing that you could do is that you can start to shift your morning routine. So get away from the coffee in the morning. I know I said it. People get more pissed off about me saying get off the coffee than they do telling them to stop drinking the milk and having the gluten. But I'm telling you, okay? And I'm even talking things like bulletproofing your coffee and doing all of that. I'm going to stick to my guns on this as a health professional. And just what I see in people is that we are looking for ways to still justify having something that is stimulating to our body. And even if you're using organic, fair trade, fresh pressed, roasted, however it is that you're having it, if you're struggling with digestive imbalances, if you're struggling with hormonal imbalances, adrenal fatigue, elevated cortisol levels, it really is just perpetuating the cycle. And adding in butter or upgraded collagen and all of those things that can be healthy in and of themselves are not going to make a difference when it comes to balancing out those aspects of your body. Does it mean you can never have coffee? No, I am not saying that at all. But what I mean is, if it is your ritual of having a couple of cups a day, if you depend on your coffee to have a bowel movement, if you depend on your coffee to actually feel like you can wake up, there are ways we can shift that. So yes, Dandy Blend, I absolutely love. And the main reason I love it, and listen, I do not work for Dandy Blend. I don't get money from Dandy Blend. I don't even get free product from Dandy Blend. I just talk about what I love. Dandy Blend is great because it is dandelion root. It's helping to cleanse, purify, and balance your liver. It's helping to alkalize your liver and your blood. We can all use more of that, especially those of us that are dealing with a hormonal imbalance, or if you've been on medications for a long period of time, the birth control pill, corticosteroid creams, anything. I mean, your liver is doing over 500 jobs a day, and it's really working at sifting through all the garbage. And so if we can work to lighten the load, it's a wonderful thing. Then you can add in your collagen, which is going to work to start to heal the gut. This is going to help to get the mucosa lining nice and juicy again. It's going to help to heal the junction, those porous areas of your belly that have started to open up and let undigested food through. It's incredible for your skin and for your hair and your nails. Collagen is pure protein. It's incredible for your body. Dandy Blend is a powder. So it's you can order it through Amazon, you can order it through iHerb, you can order it through well.ca. You can buy it at most natural health food stores, but it's just a powder. If you follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, I post a lot of different elixir recipes. So I do combinations, which I call elixirs. So I'll do Dandy Blend. Sometimes I do matcha. Sometimes I do green tea or longevity tea. The brands of collagen that I really love, I love Vital Proteins. It's probably my favorite because of how easily it mixes. It's very fine. It's not like grainy. I like Great Lakes as well too. That's a really good one. Organica has one that's not too bad. So those ones are great to use. And then adding in a healthy fat. So whether it's ghee, which is clarified butter, grass-fed butter, coconut oil. You could even add in a nut or a seed butter in there. Maca, which is a Peruvian root to help to balance out the hormones. Cinnamon, which is balancing for your blood sugar. Turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory. Cacao, which is rich in magnesium. And especially that time of the month, ladies, when you're getting the cravings, PMS might be elevating. Getting cacao in is a fantastic way to satiate those cravings and to also help to ground your body. So pop over to my site, jenpike.com, and you'll see there are different elixir recipes. And that leads me into my step 3, which is add in bone broth. Bone broth is excellent to help to heal the gut. So if you have a lot of digestive issues that are going on, you're feeling malnutrition, you go through in and out periods of digestion is good, and then it's really awful. Sipping on bone broth like you would sip on a tea, drinking it throughout the day, you can't overdose on it, and it's really rich in gelatin and minerals. Your body's made up of minerals. There are building blocks, much like our amino acids and our proteins, and your collagen, again, is going to help you on a structural level, the structure of your gut, the structure of your hair, skin, and nails, your tendons, your ligaments. We start to lose the amount of collagen that our body has over the years. And so any way that we can replenish that is an incredible thing. And you're going to feel and see the difference quite quickly with adding that collagen in. And then the other thing would be getting in your probiotics every day for your gut. This is really, really important. So yes, we can talk about eating pre and probiotic foods, which is important. You want to make sure you're getting plant-based nutrients. You need to get fiber in, but I really honestly firmly believe in getting a good probiotic. And the reason is that we are just constantly bombarded by chemicals and toxins and unhealthy, items that are being passed off as food but are not food. And our body, our digestive system, is being bombarded by this, and it cannot do all the work in a day that needs to be done. And what ends up happening is we end up getting more bad bacteria in our body than we have good bacteria. And when the bad bacteria outweigh the good, this is where we end up with more chronic illnesses and diseases. We have more yeast and more pathogens that are going on. We end up having more inflammation systemically. Every source of inflammation, every single dis-ease, every single imbalance in your body, mentally, emotionally, and physically, are coming back all the way down into that gut. That is where everything starts from. Protein powder that I recommend for someone with hormonal acne, plant-based all the way through and through. I don't recommend whey protein powders, even like the, really well filtered processed New Zealand whey. I recommend plant-based. For hormonal acne, I would use a fermented protein. So Genuine Health is a fantastic company for that. Sun Warrior has a fantastic protein powder as well too. Those would be the ones that I'd recommend for that. Yes, Mary's asking. Yeah, the webinar is recorded, so you'll get it after, Mary. Bone broth not being good for you because of the toxins. No, so you want to choose organic grass-fed products. Your bones that you are getting, you need to know where you are getting them from. You don't just go buy them at Walmart or use Maple Leaf brand because yes, I mean, all of those animals, those are industrialized farmed animals that are not being fed grass, that are being fed soy and GMO corn and gluten and who knows what else. And then yes, you will uptake that into your body. So you want to source out your products really, really well. When you're looking from a budgeting perspective, that is where your money should go when you're looking at organics, is into your animal products because they hold on to the most. Our produce is important as well too, which I'll talk about later. I alternate my probiotic brands. Lynn's asking me what I use. Right now I use Genuine Health Fermented, which has pre and probiotics. I also like Genestra. I love Biotics. I like Pure Encapsulation. Those are the ones I generally tend to move towards. So probiotics, vitamin D is really important for your gut and your whole body health. So I have 5 foundational supplements that I educate on all the time. And it really doesn't matter what we're talking about. Those are always going to be the base. And that's what I try to get people on initially. We don't need to be having cupboards full of supplements. If you have a hormonal issue going on, if there's something specific, if there's something acute that we're trying to manage, then we may have to add additional supplements. But generally for me, my 5 are a probiotic, a good quality emulsified vitamin D. So not a tablet and not a chew, an emulsion. So the 2 companies I recommend are Genestra and Biotics. Now, again, if you aren't catching this right now, please don't worry because it's recorded and you're going to get the recording so you can go through and listen and jot it all down. So those vitamin Ds are Genestra and Biotics. The other thing that you need to make sure you're getting in is an omega-3. So I love Nordic Naturals. I love Carlson's. I love some of Genuine Health's. I love Udo's. Magnesium. So CanPrev is the magnesium that I use and that I really love. Magnesium bisglycinate. And you want to make sure with that you're getting in at least 200 to 400 milligrams of that. So that's really important. And then having plant-based nutrients every single day. So for me, it is Juice Plus. Actually, I've got one of my bottles here. They're actually all over my house because, and this is just one of 3 bottles, but this is, over 30 non-GMO fruits and vegetables that we as a family take every day. And I've taken for 11 years. And I just love on that company so much. I have met some of the farmers that actually produce the non-GMO produce for the company. So those are my 5. If you read my book, if you go to my website right now, we are actually giving you the free chapter of on my supplements, right? Which is like a 15-page PDF that you get that I talk about all the supplements that are my go-tos that I love. So if you want more info on that, you can head over to jenpike.com and you can download that free chapter, or you can buy the book and get all this information. Okay, so let's talk about reducing inflammation, food sensitivities, and what these triggers can be. So the first step to reducing inflammation is what we just talked about. It's healing your gut. I want you to remember this. No matter what is going on in your body, doesn't matter if it starts in your big toe. Doesn't really start in your big toe. It starts in your gut. So your whole focus, the energy you put into your body, your first and foremost is coming back to establishing a healthy digestive system. We want to digest our food with ease so that we can absorb and assimilate and uptake the nutrients that's in our food. I can't tell you how many people have come back to me with live blood cell analysis, and on the surface, it looks like they're eating a really healthy diet, and they have zeros up and down the column of the nutrients that, by looking at the food, they should be really rich in. Their body's not digesting it. They're not absorbing it. And if you're not absorbing it, you're not getting any of the nutrients. Now, you still hold on to the calories. You still hold on to the sugar, the sodium, the fat, all of that, but you're not getting the nutrients. And this is what your body thrives off of. This is what will kill inflammation, is more phytonutrients, more phytonutrition, more micronutrients. These are our minerals and our vitamins. We're so hyper-focused on carbs and fat and protein, which are our macronutrients. We need to do a better job at educating people on the vitamins and minerals you need, not in a multivitamin, okay? I don't take multivitamins. I don't recommend multivitamins. This is my multi. This is what I would use. I go to plants. I go to the food source. I don't go to a hard tablet that's just going to become a train in my intestinal system, make it harder for my liver, and bung up my bowels. So I don't recommend multivitamins. Again, that's my personal and professional opinion. So step one to healing inflammation is we work on healing your gut. We implement some of the protocols of removing, okay, so the 4 R's of really getting rid of your inflammation and reestablishing a better digestive system and immune system. We remove the irritants, we begin to repair, okay, so we remove the food irritants we talked about. We begin to repair the gut by things like the bone broth, by collagen, maybe adding things like L-glutamine, digestive enzymes. So we give the body a really great building place to start to rebalance. We rebalance by also re-inoculating your microbiome, by getting probiotics in, by feeding those probiotics with prebiotics, which means the right types of fiber. And then we rebuild. So those are your 4 R's. Once we've got to that rebuild phase, this is now where majority of your inflammation has already started to calm down. And there's probably just a few nagging things left behind. What we can do at that point is that this is maybe when I would say, okay, let's get the food sensitivity testing done. The difference in food allergy testing and food sensitivity testing is a big one. So your food allergy testing is looking for an IgE response. Okay, this is where you go and get like the chemical prick test that they do. Your food sensitivity testing is looking for an IgA response. It's 2 totally different chemistries that the body is looking at. And, you know, an anaphylactic allergy is an allergy, and a sensitivity could show up as a headache. It can show up as, you know, hyperactivity. It can show up in exhaustion. It can show up in, you know, a weird feeling around your mouth or your tongue after you've eaten something. It can show up as splitting nails. It could show up as heart palpitations. It can show up digestively. I mean, there's over 200 known different symptom pictures of what food sensitivities can actually create in our body. For a lot of people, they lead to major brain fog, forgetfulness, you know, things that we would look at and think are pretty serious and not connect to that it's our food. It's that common denominator, the thing that we are consuming all the time on a regular basis that's actually creating the most inflammation in our body. When we talk about inflammation and we talk about things like autoimmune, this is where the body has now become so reactive to the things that you are eating, to the toxins in your environment, to the things that are coming in contact with your skin, to the candles you're burning, to the Febreze that you have in your house. Please get rid of all your aerosol sprays, throw out your Febreze, throw out your fabric softening sheets, get rid of all of your scented candles and move towards organic beeswax, go towards great quality essential oils. All of these things are creating a level of toxicity that is making your body over responsive. And your little immune system is just like, oh my gosh, I have invaders coming at me left, right, and center. Like we are waging a war between the food that's coming through that leaky gut, between the stress that you've got. I'm backed up with poop all the way up to Timbuktu. I'm not getting any sleep. You're feeding me shitty supplements that are backing me up and stressing out my liver. And now you're breathing in all this junk and applying all this crap to my body. Your body gets to the point where it's like, I don't even know if what I'm looking at right now is the bad guy or if this is your healthy tissue, but I got to defend you. So I'm just going to go after them both. And this is what's happening behind the scenes with an autoimmune disease or response, is that your body starts to attack the healthy tissue along with the foreign invader. And this creates an absolute mess on the inside of our bodies. And it is one that can be put into remission. It is one that we can work to heal. But you have to jump in with me all the way. You've got to be ready to start with your gut. You've got to be ready to not be running to the next weight loss program and instead focus on the best body balancing program. Really understand. When you can start to get to a place of understanding the why and the what, the how starts to become so much more available to you because it holds a different weight. None of us want to feel like garbage. Who wants to wake up and feel stiff and puffy and inflamed every day? The answer is no one. Okay. Your inflammation can also show up as things like, yes, having a not so healthy diet overall, but also SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, where there's contents that are supposed to only be in your large intestine that have made their way through the ileum into the small intestine that should not be there, right? Our body's very good at trying to compartmentalize what should be where, and things can happen. I mean, you've got 28 feet of intestinal tract, and imagine that. And it's all very tightly wound, and you're pushing feces up and across and then down before it's making its way through. There's tons of room in there for things to go wrong. And so that's why how we support our digestive system, how we hydrate our body, all of those nourishing things we do, that is all part of how you're going to feel and look overall. Yeah, it's a lot. So how do you actually get to that place where once you've healed your digestive system, where you're working on healing it? Because we never get to a place where we're like, okay, I finished that healing. Now I can go back to having a glass of wine every night and my chicken wings and my gluten-y breads and all of that. Your body will just revert back and it'll go way back quicker. So you know when you eat healthy and then you're like, oh, I'm just going to give myself a little treat, and you have the treat and you feel awful, the healthier you start to get, the more of the junk you pull out of your body. When you start to go back towards that, your body will put the brakes on and let you know, okay, that one glass of wine, that was okay. But see, number 2 and number 3 you're about to have, you might not feel so good. And your body's doing it to actually be kind to you because it wants you to feel good. It doesn't want you to feel awful. So you just need to actually listen. So when we start to look at weight loss, how I lost my 20 pounds. I mean, I remember when I came out, my mentality was just get on the treadmill and don't get off, right? To do the thing we all think. Select the fat burning program. I mean, this is again, 17 years ago, maybe 16. Anyways, it was a long time ago. It's when the fat burning programs on the machines were still the thing that you would go on and choose. And I started that approach of just thinking I have to do more. I'm going to diet. I'm going to really restrict what I'm eating. I'm going to cut my calories, to 1,200 calories a day. And I'm just going to do lots of cardio. And it didn't work. I just got tired. I lost like a couple pounds, but then I plateaued. And it wasn't until I started to delve into even more research and understand, as a woman, and in an attempt to balance my hormones, which are playing a role in my weight gain, my insulin being out of balance, my blood sugar, having too many junky carbohydrates and sugars and starches and alcohol, not enough sleep, being on the birth control pill at that time, all those things. I was like, heal your digestive system, embrace strength training, which is going to help to balance my hormones. The strength training is also going to add lean muscle tissue, which will give my body the appearance of being toned, being fit and strong. And that will start to actually move the needle metabolically to get things to shift. And lo and behold, that is what happened. So I backed way off the cardio. I started to embrace lifting weights more often. And I had been lifting weights, but I was afraid to lift heavy because I was like, I don't want to bulk up. Meanwhile, it's like impossible to bulk up. The only way you bulk up as a woman is if you're taking synthetic things or you're eating such garbage, and the bulk on top is actually inflammation. But for those of you who say, I want to get toned, you have to stop using that word, because what you're actually saying is you want to add lean muscle to your body. It's the tone is the appearance that you get when you lift heavy weights with your shoulders, you build your back, you embrace heavy squats, you get into those lunges, you aren't afraid to move and use your body, and you build lean muscle tissue from there. That is what is going to get the weight to drop. That is what is going to bring the inches in. I would say to people who ask me, what type and how much, when I do my programs, so like in the Simplicity Project, I lay a workout plan out for you. I give you different phases. All the women who are in my hormone project right now, I lay it out for you. I give you different phases. In my book, the Simplicity Project, I lay it out for you. I give you different phases. But here's what I would say. Ideally, I've written out 12 steps to losing weight. Okay. Now you can start one at a time, but I'm going to go through these 12 with you. So first is to start your day with protein and fats and greens. So this is where a smoothie comes into play, or something like a couple of organic eggs with some sauteed or raw greens and a little bit of avocado. Your body does not want a bowl of cereal or a croissant or a muffin or a bagel or a Nutri-Grain bar first thing in the morning, okay? That is going to jack your sugar up. That is going to get your pancreas on this insulin groove where it's just going to keep pumping it out. You're eventually going to have a low and require another stimulating high. And it's that sugar and it's the processed carbohydrates that are going to have you packing the pounds on. So you start your day off after you've had your hydration or your lemon water or your elixir. When your body actually feels like it's ready for food, you need to get a good source of protein. So I have so many smoothies that are out there in the world of Jen Pike online. If you go on and see any of those recipes and I share them, I'll be sharing more over the next few weeks as well too, to start your day off with that. But get away from the starchy carbohydrates first thing in the morning. That's going to help to rebalance your blood sugar and to help to curb your sugar cravings throughout the day. The next thing would be to, what I just talked about, reduce your sugar consumption and get better at your insulin response and balancing out your blood sugar, okay? Focus on consuming protein, fat, and healthy plant-based veggies and root veggies for your carb sources instead of feeling like you have to have quinoa at your meal and rice at your meal and pasta. These things aren't bad foods, but the problem that we can get into is we tend to have bigger portions of those. So instead of always thinking of a carb having to be a grain or a bean or a legume, which are fine, they're totally fine. I just had chickpeas today. But what about your root vegetables? What about squash and sweet potatoes and turnip and rutabaga and beets and all of those beautiful vegetables that so many of us forget about? You know, we've been so fear-mongered into like, no carbs, no carbs. Please stop that garbage. Your body requires carbohydrates. It's just the source and the type and the amount that you're getting in. When in doubt, always move more towards your vegetables. That is going to be the win for your body, and get more greens in. It'll help to change your palate. The more greens in that you get, you're going to be alkalizing. You're going to reduce your sugar cravings. Your energy is going to jack up. Your iron, ladies, is going to jack up. All of it's going to come together for you. The next thing is consuming about 3 liters of water a day. So this is a 1 liter measurement. You need a lot of fluid in a day, not pop, not lattes, not artificially sweetened junk, not Crystal Light, not any of that stuff. You need water. Your body requires that hydration for every single process that you are going through in your day. It's going to help your skin. It's going to make you have more regular bowel movements. It's going to give you energy. It's going to help all of it. Increase your fiber intake. Again, get your greens in. When you're making your smoothie, throw handfuls of greens in. Throw a 1/4 cup of ground flaxseed in there, which is also very balancing for your healthy estrogens as well too. Look for ways to get the extra fiber into your body. Choose a smaller plate. I haven't eaten off a dinner-sized plate in probably 5 years now. I eat off of a salad-sized plate. And the reason I started doing that is because as a mom, I would eat my full plate and then I would eat off my kids' plate what they didn't eat. And I was like, this is crazy. I don't need this amount of food. I started to shrink down the portions that I would have. I actually felt more satisfied. I felt digestively lighter and better, and I was good. And my body really resonated with that. So switch your plate up to a salad-sized plate. Still enjoy what you want to have, but don't go back for seconds and don't have it falling over the side. Shifting your perception in terms of your portions sometimes can be the tiniest little movement that your body needs in order to start to be able to regulate things on the inside better. And when you can regulate your hunger hormones, the hormones that are telling you you're satisfied, the hormones that are producing too much insulin or regulating your insulin, when you can start to get those guys on your side, then it becomes easier to live in a way where you've convinced yourself you have to have willpower. It's not that. It's you have to teach and train your body to crave the right types of things. And it's totally possible at any point, at any age, and at any stage in your life. Eat slowly. Chew your food. Chew your food. Okay, don't wash it down with your water. Chew your food. Take your time. Enjoy your meal and digest. Strength train 3 to 4 times a week. So this is one that can shock people because we've all heard, work out 3 to 4 times a week. No, you really, if you have goals you want to hit, you need to train 5 times a week. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now too, we're going to go 10 minutes over till 8:10 because we didn't get started till a couple minutes after because of some of that tech issue in the beginning. So you need to embrace strength training 3 to 4 times a week. Now, when you start a program, someone's asking, when you start a CrossFit program, is it common to gain weight before you lose, trying to increase protein at the same time? So you need to be careful, and that we always think that if we're starting to train more intensely, the thing that we require is protein, protein, protein. What you require when you start to train intensely is nutrients. And the nutrients aren't just coming from proteins. They're coming from food overall. What I would say to you is peel back from increasing any of your macronutrients right now. See how your body feels eating the way that you're currently eating. If you're gaining weight when you're starting a program like CrossFit, some people say to you, oh, it's your muscle, you're putting on size. I will tell you as a woman, it's very challenging for that to happen. If it's a couple pounds we're talking about, not a big deal. My bigger concern is that if you're putting on 4 pounds, 5 pounds or more, it could be a little bit of inflammation. Because CrossFit, and I do CrossFit. I go to CrossFit a couple times a week. My husband goes to it. It is an intense form of training. And so you have to understand the various ways of eating. And then you've got to do a little bit of self-exploring with your own body to figure out what is really going to work. I know that's a vague answer for that, but yes, it is common to sometimes gain weight. The reason why, though, isn't always the same. Sometimes if it's a few pounds, it might be muscle. Other times it is inflammation. And if you're training all the time, or I know people who are doing it like 5 days a week, sometimes twice a day, that is too much for your system. Your body will retain fluid, will retain weight, and it's doing that to try and defend you and take care of you. Yoga twice a week. So here's the tipping point for me. I started to back off all this cardio. I incorporated yoga. Yoga is hands down my favorite form of movement. It is the most humbling form of movement. It will teach you how to breathe. It connects you to your body in ways and places that you didn't even know were there. What I will tell you about yoga, I'm not going to talk about what type of yoga you need to choose. I'm going to talk to you about the teacher that you need to choose, because the teacher is actually the product. It's not the sun salutations. It's not warrior two. It's not chaturanga. It's not child's pose. It is the energy, the personality, the philosophy, and the love and the guidance from the person in front of you who is teaching you. So sample out a few instructors and return to the classes that resonate with you, where you leave and you just feel so amazing and moved and touched. And that is going to bring you in a better place with your body. It's going to show up better for you in your strength training. You're going to have better kinesthetic body awareness when you're doing your CrossFit. It will show up in life day to day, just getting up out of a chair, everything. And walk a couple of times a week. So in my ideal scenario, if we were looking at a 5, say we were looking at Monday to Friday, I would say do your strength training Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I would go for a walk Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I would throw yoga in on Tuesday and Thursday. So you do have to be prepared. If you, again, hear yourself when you're talking about your goals, and this is maybe where you start, is really talk about your goals. If your goal is you want to lose weight, you want to, get in your best shape, you want to get fit, you want to firm up, you want to see the muscle that you are working so hard to build, you got to be accountable to that. It means that you have to work out more than 2 days a week. You can't talk about it 5 days a week. You have to do it. It means you've got to firm up on your nutrition. You have to pull all the pieces together. And when I talk about the difference of a perfect body or a dream body, the idea that you have of what it is that you want to create, are you prepared to live your life in a way to create that? Because I've done fitness competitions, and I will tell you, 12 weeks out from my shows, my whole focus is that I'm not drinking the wine. I'm not having the, junky food. I'm not going out to a restaurant. I'm not doing those things. I become very hyper-focused in that period of time, and it's not for everyone. A lot of people can slip down a slippery slope of it being really unhealthy. I know a lot of girls doing it who have eating disorders or who have come out with body dysmorphia. My goal getting up on stage is not to be the most cut. I do it for me. I do it because it's the reason I've done races in the back and different things. Like, I love to have something to train for. So you just have to ask yourself, based on those goals, are you prepared to do what you've got to do to hit them? Because if not, then just stop. Why are you being so hard on yourself, right? Like, just think of everything your body does for you in a day. Your body is freaking amazing. Give it an opportunity to fully express that and to feel that. Tabata is great. You're trying to fit in 1 day of yoga, 1 day Tabata, 1 spinning, and 1 personal training. That's beautiful. That's great. And it's nice weather outside. And if you could, if you have a dog that wants to go out for a walk and you could get out for walks here and there, that's amazing. Sometimes your exercise is child's pose, right? Like, some days you just got to call it. I eliminated gluten for about 4 weeks. I was feeling like I was hungover all the time. This is a common body detox from getting off of it. That brain fog is slowly starting to work its way out. So part of removing some of the offenders is then replacing some positive things to help your body get through that. So I'm not too sure, Becky, when you pulled the gluten out, if you then got more vegetables in for your body to help with that detoxification, you increased your water, taking a good quality B vitamin on top of the other ones that I talked about might might be really important for you as well too. But I would definitely say that if you felt that way coming off the gluten, stay off the gluten. That's your body trying to break through this barrier. And lastly, my 12th tip on losing weight is you got to sleep. You've got to sleep. I don't know if you know this, but the sleep is actually where the change happens. So the strength training, the yoga, the Tabata, the walking, the Pilates, the dance, whatever it is the catalyst. It is the nudge. It's the thing that's like getting into your body's way. It's actually damaging your muscle tissue. You create free radicals when you exercise. It's getting in there and stirring things up. Then how you fuel your body, the things that you eat are going in and helping to repair the muscle tissue. Then how you rest and how you recover is what's restoring the whole picture and bringing everything together and creates this synergy between the exercise, the nutrition, the supplementation, your sleep. This will balance your hormones. You can't grow muscle without appropriate hormones. If you don't have enough of your healthy estrogens, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, human growth hormone, you only produce human growth hormone when you are sleeping. So if your sleep is really poor, if you wake often throughout the night, if you're up too early, if you're chasing down the clock and you go to bed at midnight and get up at 5, or you only get 5 to 6 hours of sleep, you can't sustain that for a long period of time. That is going to start to show up in your body. And maybe how it's showing up for you right now is lack of results in what you're doing movement-wise. So I really want you to consider that. In my book, The Simplicity Project, and in my course, The Simplicity Project Online, which that course is I bring my whole book to life, we go through an entire bedroom checklist, everything you need to get set up, all the patterns and rituals you need to put into place to help to really foster a better relationship with your sleep and get the rest and recovery that you need. We also go through your pre and post workout nutrition as well too, so that you can start to get the most out of the effort you're putting in. And here's my last tip for losing weight in terms of your exercise. You've got to be consistent. It is small, consistent patterns that we have on a daily basis with our food, with our exercise, with our supplements, with our hydration, with our rest, with the people we spend time with, that ultimately lead towards the biggest changes. It's not the huge shifts that you create in your life that make the biggest change. It's the small, consistent things that you are doing that are going to help that. Okay, so we have 2 more points to get through. We're going to talk 3 more points, actually. We're going to go through this. Actually, you know what? Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out of order because we were already on the exercise thing. Here's my 3 specific steps to sculpting the body that you want. First thing is, I just said, is consistency is everything. You can't be a fair weather worker-outer and expect to hit these goals. The second thing is identify your weak points. What is it you need to work on balancing? Do you need to strengthen your back and your shoulders? Are your arms the area of focus? Do you want to work on your core, which, by the way, don't spend your time doing crunches. Do multi-movement compound exercises, squats, rows, deadlifts, lunges into shoulder press, all of that. I also want you to really think about how much time do you have in the week to commit to it. For instance, if your shoulders and your back are lagging and you need to bring those areas up, you need to hit them twice a week. If your lower body, your glutes are droopy, your hamstring and your bum are starting to become one, and the back of your leg is like a bag now, where you've got that bum leg that's happening, you need to hit your glutes 3 times a week. I promise you, you go onto my YouTube channel. I have 8 and 11-minute glute series. I have 2 new DVDs, one that has 7, 12 to 15-minute workouts that you could squeeze in every day, or another DVD that's a little bit longer. You've got to put the energy behind what you want to create, and then you have to fuel and rest properly. Sabrina, we are going to get to the hormone test, so don't you worry. Cut the excess cardio and embrace the walking or the yoga instead. So if you're a 5-day-a-week cardio junkie, I want you to let's slowly wean you down. Cut it down to 3 times a week cardio and replace the other 2 times with yoga. Get in there, move your body. If you are somebody that loves continuous flow, choose a vinyasa class so that you're going to get that flow component and not something like yin where you're holding only 5 poses in an entire class. Okay, so let's talk hormones. So let's talk about the test. So this isn't a hormone workshop tonight. I lead those all the time. And if you do the Simplicity Project, we spend a ton of time on your hormones. But I want you to know test-wise what you need to ask for. The first thing when we're trying to figure out what is going on with our hormones is we need to know what's going on with our thyroid and our adrenals. Now, there's not a blood test for your adrenals. That's a salivary test. I don't have a lot of people spend the few $100s getting that test done because your signs and symptoms and the way that you describe yourself to me and your schedule and routine will let me know whether or not those adrenals are doing well or they need support. Your thyroid, on the other hand, we want a full panel. So this is not just your TSH. It's not just your thyroid stimulating hormone. It's your TSH, it's your T3, your T4, your reverse T3. We want to know that the thyroid hormone your body is producing, you are actually converting into the usable form. That reverse T3 isn't getting in the way and blocking these receptor sites, causing you to have either a hypoactive thyroid or a hyper or the autoimmune hypoactive thyroid, which is Hashimoto's. These things go undiagnosed in women for years. They get put on antidepressants instead of being guided to heal their thyroid. So you want your TSH, your free T3 and T4, your reverse T3, and potentially, if your doctor will agree to it, which most of them will not, if you started with those 4, it'll give us a good indication. If there were some levels that were out of balance there, then I would highly recommend getting your antibodies, your 2 thyroid antibodies measured, your thyroglobulin and peroxidase. And those are going to tell us whether or not we actually have an autoimmune issue going on in your body. And you can completely heal from Hashimoto's. We can completely put your hypothyroidism into remission. I never say to people that we can get you off of your synthetic thyroid medication, but we can definitely make your body more receptive to uptaking it and work at possibly decreasing the dosage through adopting a really healthy lifestyle design. This is all what it comes down to, is designing your lifestyle to be congruent and aligned with your goals of how you want to feel. If you can take the look aspect off the table for a couple of months and just focus on how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? How am I feeling? And then we can start to line up the strategies with that. You will look better because you feel better. How many people do you know that look, they're thin and everything like that, but they feel like crap? Or how many people you know that have these curvy, awesome, gorgeous feminine bodies and they feel amazing and they don't care what the scale says? So don't go based on the look, go based on how you are feeling or want to feel. The next thing is looking at your B12. So most women are low in B12, vitamin D, and ferritin. I have never worked with a woman in all of my years of nutrition practice that has come to me with optimal ferritin and hemoglobin levels, okay? So there's 2 levels we're looking at in our iron, not just hemoglobin. Ferritin is really the most important one we need to put our eyes on. And so with ferritin, that marker, the benchmark for testing, you can be within the healthy range if you're anywhere from 11 to 144. It's absolutely ludicrous. What you do need to be told as a woman is that ideally we want your ferritin somewhere between 70 to 100. That's really difficult for menstruating women, especially if you have a heavy cycle, extreme PMS, clotting, polycystic ovarian syndrome, insulin resistance, excess weight, estrogen dominance, toxicity in your body. Your ferritin is going to be low, which means your energy is low, your hair is falling out, you have hormonal acne, you are freaking exhausted. People piss you off left, right, and center. Your blood sugar is going to be out of balance. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on. And that's where I would strongly encourage you to start to learn more about what's going on with your hormones. That is a big one that we talk about in the 6-week course. It's huge. Ladies, you have to understand this. You have to. If your doctor won't run these tests, most naturopaths, when you go in for a consultation and you let them know that your family physician wouldn't agree to it, will do the testing. There's also different labs that I work with that if you do any of my programs, I can connect you to those labs. You order the test online. All of these are paid in US dollars. They mail the requisitions or the tests themselves. So this is not blood work. You're not going to take your own blood. They would mail, like if we're doing the Dutch hormone test, which is a dried urine test that's done over 4 samples, or we would do the salivary testing, stool sampling, those types of things. They mail you the kit. You complete it. You send it back to them. Then they send you the lab report, and then I get the lab report, and we go through all of your results together so that you can understand what the heck is going on in your body. The other things that we would want to know is your C-reactive protein. This is a biomarker in your blood that tells us how risky things are in your system for autoimmune and inflammatory diseases and illnesses. And we want that marker to be under 1.5. I have had women come to me whose CRP is in double digits, in the high 30s, 40s. I've had a woman come to me post-cancer with her CRP levels over 100 in triple digits that has been told that that's just normal and everything is fine. It's not. And it's our lifestyle patterning and our lifestyle design that is going to be the thing that's going to help to move that in a healthier direction. And you're going to feel that shift systemically in your body. The other thing for your reproductive hormones, we want to know your estrogen. So estrogen levels, they will shift depending on where you're at, what phase you're at in life. So if you are in your reproductive years, if you are in your perimenopausal years, menopausal or postmenopausal, the values will be different. When we're looking at progesterone, you typically want to test progesterone for the optimal results between days 18 and 22 of your cycle. And this, ideally, we want to be somewhere in around the range of 30 for our progesterone. Most women I work with are very, very low in progesterone, which is contributing to the breast tenderness, the hormonal migraines, the really bad PMS, the heavy menstrual cycle, miscarriages, infertility. So we work at reestablishing a healthy balance of progesterone while we bring down the chemical form of estrogen. We also look at levels of testosterone and your androgens. So if your doctor can look at testosterone and your DHEA, your adrenals are producing your DHEA. And if these are elevated, you can have high levels of androgen, male hormones, which will contribute to PCOS, which will contribute to infertility, insulin resistance, acne, male pattern hair loss, as well as hair growth on the face around that jawline. And yeah, those would be your reproductive hormones. So all of these tests can be run by your family doctor, but you have to be really honest with them about why you want these tests done. Again, you have to create a compelling case, which I know is insane. You should just be able to go in and ask to have these tests. Sometimes they will charge you extra, anywhere from $30 to $70 on each of the tests, depending. I'm telling you, if you are feeling unwell and you know something is going on in your body, and you're not getting the answers that you're looking for, pay the extra money and get the test. For me as a practitioner, when clients come to me with that type of information, that for me is like the healthiest ammunition. When I get a glimpse on the inside and I can line it up parallel to the way that you're describing how you're feeling, the results we're going to get together are going to be so much better. Okay, so and the other thing I would just say on that is that start with the foundation of 5 supplements. So women are so quick to run to buy every adaptogen supplement, every adrenal supplement, everything that says that it's going to give them energy, have them lose weight. They're buying CLA, all these different things that are marketed and geared towards weight loss. And my question is, have you done steps 1 through 4? Did you heal your digestive system? Are you actually absorbing your food? Did you change up the quality of the supplements? Are you eating better food? Did you remove the irritation? Are you moving your body in a healthy way? Are you getting proper sleep? Have you changed up your body care products? Like, don't waste your money on tons and tons of supplements if you've yet to do the foundational work, because your body can't even do anything with these supplements until you start to clear up the interference, okay? Really important to understand, and in the long run is going to save you a lot of money, a lot of cupboard space, and a lot of time. Talking about money, this is our final point about meal planning, budgeting, strategizing for yourself. Biggest thing is you have to plan ahead. You have to look at the calendar for the week that's going to happen or the next couple of weeks, and you've got to commit to being in your kitchen at least a couple of days a week so that you can batch cook. So if you're going to cook chicken, you don't cook chicken for 1 meal, you cook chicken for 2 or 3 meals. And then you have it sliced up in the fridge so you can toss it on a salad. You could have it, with a bean salad. You could put it in a wrap. You could do whatever you're going to do with it. You hard boil a dozen eggs at a time. Tonight I grilled up some wild salmon. I made double the amount of salmon. And so we'll have cold salmon in our lunches tomorrow, but that part's done. When I roast vegetables, I roast 4 trays at a time, and then I fill Corningware dishes. So in my fridge at any given time, I can just open up and scoop a little of this, grab a little bit of this. So you have to plan ahead. You can't just, it's 5 o'clock and be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to make for dinner? You also have to have the right tools in your house. So if you have no food, you can't make anything. You're going to have to get takeout, which never ends well. So you have to, shop. You need to know before you go to the grocery store. If you just go in and shop with your eyes, you will spend twice as much money. I guarantee you won't end up cooking up half the things that you buy. So now you're going to waste. So you've spent too much money and now you've wasted a ton of money. You need to actually buy a little bit less when you shop. In the beginning, when this is new to you, don't try this strategy that people give of doing 1 shop a week. It's not going to work for you. It is not going to work for you. You need to do a shop where you have a couple days worth of food so you can use it and get through that. Then once you're through it, now, okay, what's the next chunk of meals that I'm going to put together? Go back and do it. Like really start to learn your new healthy habits before you over embellish and buy way too much. And now you're stuck with it. And that's going to tank your budget really quickly. Stop wasting time on social media and on TV and get in the kitchen. Okay. I'm not here to become your BFF and tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to be really honest and loving with you of what you need to hear. If you have time to be swiping on this for even 30 minutes in a day, you have time to make a healthy meal. If you have time to sit down and watch Netflix and whatever it is that's going on, you can make this a ritual in your kitchen. I put podcast on or music on when I'm in the kitchen. I commit myself to a couple of hours, a couple days a week, and I make it fun. My kids are in the kitchen. Like everybody meets in the kitchen anyways. So if there is a show that you want to watch, bring your iPad into the kitchen and watch your show while you cook your meal. Like really learn to batch your time so that you don't feel like, oh, I need to watch my show for an hour and then, oh, now I got to go make dinner. Or I got to make dinner, then I got to watch my show and now I got to go try and make healthy lunches for the next day. Like it just won't happen. So try and figure out a way that you can pull it all together. The other thing would be ask for help. Who can you reach out to? I do this all the time. So this leads into Lori's question. I get produce delivery. They just delivered tonight. Every Wednesday, Organics Live comes to our home with a beautiful box of organic, non-GMO produce. And it's great because for me, I've been on this journey for a long time. So I can only go to the grocery store 1 time a week. I also have the ability now to honestly, you could give me 6 ingredients and I could make meals for 5 days out of that. I've just learned over 20 years of being in the kitchen how to do that. And I've had times in life when I first opened up my studio where our budget was really, really slim. And I just had to learn how to create healthy meals with not a lot of money. And so that was a great experiment because now I can create and put anything together. So Organics Live is wonderful. If you are doing animal meat still, like beef and pork and chicken and those types of things, Stubborn Farmer is fantastic. Northern organic produce as well too. Check out local farms and farmers markets, which they all open the first weekend in May. So look in your area. Also CSAs, so community share agriculture, where you can share with another family. You can also, if you're doing a lot of meat in that, you can literally order a quarter of a cow, organic grass-fed meat. So you've got great quality, but when you're buying it in bulk, you're going to save money on it. What else? Shop at various stores, right? So we have really great health food stores around us, but I don't go to the health food store all the time. I can find some of the same products at Walmart, at Superstore, at Zehrs, at No Frills. So I'm not running around the whole town with my head cut off, but I've just known now. I mean, you only have to shop and do it a couple of times where you start to learn the best places to go and find your stuff. I don't price match anymore. Someone's asking about that, because typically the things that you can price match are all the junky, crappy food anyways. So I don't even do that anymore. It just kind of became a waste of time. And don't be afraid to order pre-cooked meals. I have reached out on Facebook numerous times and said, I have a few busy weeks coming up. Is there somebody that I could pay to create really nourishing meals for my family? And time again, I'm flooded with people who are offering to do that. And I love to pay them to do that because honestly, the peace of mind to know that if I'm out teaching at night or our schedule's too busy, that my family, my husband and my children and my body are going to be nurtured and supported by this food. Go to your local health food store, maybe buy a few pre-made salads and dishes. I have a client today who reached out and said, Jen, I have 2 weeks of packing and moving my house. What do? I don't even have all my stuff out. I can't cook and do what I need to. And I just said, create a little extra room in your budget if you can. Take a breath. Go and buy some pre-made healthy stuff so you have it for you. And then just get back on track in your kitchen once you're settled in. Like, you've got to go easy on yourself. Yeah, so those would be my tips on budgeting, scheduling, planning, all of that. And don't feel like it has to be so regimented, right? It doesn't. You need to have a plan, but you also have to be able to bend and to flex with it because things can change on a dime. Okay, we are at 8:20. So we went a little bit over. I know a lot of you are asking on the side, and I do want to answer for you. Yes, the Simplicity Project, I only run this once a year. So there's a lot of women that are in my hormone project right now, which I run 4 times a year. I only take 10 to 12 women at a time. But my Simplicity Project is my signature course. And this is a 6-week course going through all of these things we talked about tonight in massive amounts of detail. I do meal planning for you. I give you so many recipes. You get both of my books. You get a 16-part video library series of me making body care products in my kitchen, making milks, making elixirs, salads, different meals. You also get a ticket to my live event that happens June 25th in Newmarket with incredible guest speakers, 26 vendors. We do yoga that day. We swag bag you. We feed you. You literally walk into this room in Newmarket at the Riverwalk Commons and feel like you have walked into the pages of my book. Every product and company and person that I educate you on through this course is waiting for you on the inside of these walls. So you get to meet them, you get to touch, taste, smell, all of it. And it's this full-on day of immersion where when you leave, you are just set. You are set to move forward and step into this next phase of your health journey. And so tonight I'm adding in an additional bonus only for those of you who joined us here live and engaged with us on this webinar. A couple of days ago, I got back from a retreat in Costa Rica, and I had put out there on social media that I was doing a 10-day reset for my body. And I'm going to offer this 10-day reset free to all of you tonight on top of the 6-week program, on top of the library series, on top of the free VIP ticket. And this 10-day plan will come to you at the end of the 6 weeks. And it's my personal meal plan. It's my personal workout plan, the body care I'm doing for myself over these 10 days and the recipes. So it's just my way of saying, thank you to showing up for everything that I do, but it's also my way of congratulating you for showing up to yourself. Because I think that that's really huge, especially in a day and age where we can always feel like we're not doing enough. You just carved out an hour and a half for yourself tonight to learn about yourself, and that's huge. So you deserve a high five for that. Vanessa, my assistant, is linking up the registration on the sidebar for you. We'll also mail it out to you or email it out to you with the recording of tonight. If you want to capture this bonus of the 10-day reset, you need to do it and sign up by midnight tonight. Everything I've talked about is all inclusive for $297, and the rate is going up next week. So we start, actually the rate's going up this weekend because we start on Monday with this. So head on over to jenpike.com. Vanessa's posting the link on the sidebar. You can register there. Any questions that you have, feel free to PM me on Facebook at Jen Pike or to send us info@jenpike.com for any additional questions that you have about the webinar tonight or about the program. Have a fantastic rest of your night. Wishing you a great sleep, and we'll see you next time. Take care.